And the road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road has gone, and I must follow it if I can. Hey guys, welcome back to the Buck Think Tank for the round of Comic Chat. And we'll get into it with really some all-in titles. Like ever since the whole DC all-in initiative started with the whole Dark Side dying in the absolute universe, we there's been a good number of titles coming in with the all-in logo, and I figured, like, you know what? Let's read a couple, see how we feel. And honestly, I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. I've got three to talk about right now, and we're getting right into it with Two-Face. So I was surprised Two-Face was getting a book. I was like, of all people, Two-Face. Granted, Tom King did a Penguin story, and that's all right, all right, all right. I fell off that one. But I'm gonna get caught up on that one. Um, Scarecrow had the whole fear state, but that was a while ago. Joker gets something like every year at least, so yeah, whatever. Riddler's currently doing a thing, so yeah, Harvey was the one left, and Harvey's been in such a weird place lately. It's like, is he is he better? Is he not? His One Bad Day book was not that great, and like the last time he had like a real story was what? Scott Snyder's All-Star Batman, where actually I think the Two-Face was like the best one, where he's like, I'm gonna reveal all the information I got, all the dirt I got. And you gotta stop me first. And look into Harvey's life, his childhood, and whatnot. So I was like, okay, okay, let's read about Harvey. So the premise of this one really is this, all right? In the criminal underworld, there's something called the White Court. And this is where, hey, if there's something wrong, someone's been killed, or we've got like an issue to bring forward, before it becomes information to the police who will do something to ruin this, we're going to try to solve this ourselves, all right? And I like that. And the thing about this is, Harvey is the one who's sort of presiding over the White Court as an attorney. Like, because, this is where he was. Before he became Two-Face, he was the district attorney, all right? And so he comes in, he's here to address this issue where a mob boss has been killed. And, like, hey, Victor Zsasz did it. And Harvey, well, in this case, Harvey, because in this current state, we're under the impression that Harvey himself has locked away Two-Face. So he's just Harvey Dent. But he's not letting anyone else know that. So this is just sort of an interesting idea in itself. As we find out, the idea that Harvey's got is, hey, if I do this, if I do this, if I do enough good, everything will be fine. And he meets a girl named Lake, all right, Lake Cantwell, all right, who was sort of interested in Harvey, and or at least Two-Face, and wants to be part of what he's doing. I'm like, okay, okay. And the thing is, we kind of know what's going on here for the most part. Let's take this on the chin that Harvey is doing well. The real question is, what about Harvey? What about Two-Face? What about, as he was called in the anime series, Big Bad Harv? How is he going to fit into this? And he's been locked away in a mind palace. Oh, Stephen Moffat, look what you've done. Overall, though, I think this is a really cool story so far. It's only 2 issues in. The second issue, we get more of the back and forth between Harvey and Two-Face. But as much as I didn't like the One Bad Day story, I think Stephanie Brown was right. Harvey is Two-Face, Two-Face is Harvey. These are one and the same, and I think the question is, will Harvey ever be able to reconcile that? Because in reality, Harvey is one of the most tragic characters in Batman's Rogues Gallery. All right, because he has surrendered himself to the coin. And now, again, he's going right back to where he started before, with the idea being, I'm just not going to acknowledge this other part of me. That's what got him in trouble in the first place. Overall, though, fun, and I liked it. Next is what should be the crown jewel of the All-In Initiative, Justice League Unlimited. I'm like, okay, this is like how it's presented, especially in All In, as to how the Justice League works now. Like there's more members in it than ever before. They're actually setting up teams like on the fly, but sort of using the cards and its magical um his magical technological AI to pair the best people with the best people, as well as giving them a stat boost. I'm like, okay, cool. And this is all known to be taking place after the events of Absolute Power, so the character Airwave, who was a big help in that one, is now part of this story here. And I do like how the League is set up here, but to me, I feel the big draw is just seeing these new dynamics. And this isn't the first time that's happened in Justice League books. There was Justice League United, which wasn't that great a story, but it was actually up to, at first to be like the Justice League of Canada. I was like, Canada. All right, which is sucks because if you go on the internet now, it's probably, you just might as well call it the Justice League of America. Oh, that's probably not going to happen. So calm down, Canada. If it does, you've no one to blame but yourself. But anyway, this is sort of a story about two people, really. At least the first issue, the new hero Airwave, who is going to play a big role, presumably going by this issue and the next two issues coming up, but also in my mind, Carol. Carol, who's been sort of put back into the role of superhero again, because in the pages of Green Lantern, she got her Star of Sapphire ring back. So yeah, but also we found out about the big bad of at least this first big story in Justice League Unlimited, Inferno. But I think really where the beauty of this book lies is the fact we're seeing dynamics we haven't seen in a while. Not just Carol Ferris teaming up with people at Star Sapphire, but Batman and Blue Beetle. We don't see that at all. We see the new hero Airwave comes in. Black Lightning hasn't been on the Justice League proper in well over 10 years. Like he was actually like a mainstay for a while. So it's nice seeing him back there. Not a big they should go back to being bald, but whatever. Whatever. We're seeing exactly what they all bring to the table. There's a great moment when Carol and Airwave are able to save people using Airwave's ability to connect everyone's phones, because basically what he does. And Carol Ferris able to use her powers of Star Sapphire to reunite a dying man with his wife, which is actually what saves him. So that's cool. Then we meet the group known as Inferno, who wants to transform the world. Like, okay, I haven't found a reason to care about him yet. You won't really find it in this first story, to be fair. This first issue, like all first issues, is designed to sell you, hey, this is the world, this is the status quo, this is what's going on here. And Airwave's apparently going to kill the Justice League. So, yeah. That's interesting. We're going to see how that plays off. And it's hard to say if he's possessed or if he's just like, hey, I don't want to do it, but I got to do it. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what Mark Waid does, although he's been complaining on Twitter ever since the election. As I always tell people, whoever wins the election, I still have to go to work tomorrow. So, whatever. And finally, we have Aquaman. So, Aquaman has been in a weird place. He came out swinging hard in DC Rebirth, which, to be fair, everyone came out swinging hard in DC Rebirth. And then, yeah. But, he sort of suffered, I think, he and Batman, I think, suffered the most, the hardest. I think a case could be made for Superman and Wonder Woman. But anyway, out of the events of Absolute Power, a bunch of superheroes got their powers switched up. All right, like Black Canary has Superman's heat vision, which is weird. I think she has her canary cry, so that's just unfair. And in this case, Aquaman has adopted Mara's hydrokinesis. I'm like, okay. And so as he's fighting Cthulhu-esque figure, because of course he does, uh, he's now adjusting to his powers of hydrokinesis. Like, he's never really done it before. Like, despite what people think, Aquaman cannot control water. He talks to the fishes. Okay, he doesn't talk to the fishes. He effectively Jedi mind tricks the fishes. Yes, as he said in New 52, look, their minds are too small to have a conversation. All right, all I do is sort of, again, Jedi mind trick them into doing it, and it can't override their survival instinct. So, whatever. But as Aquaman gets adjusted to his new powers, he's also adjusted to his new role because if you're like a lot of people who stopped reading Aquaman when Kelly Sue came up, and I think someone else came up before her, if I remember correctly, Dan Abnett started. I think Kelly Sue just came in. But anyway, somewhere between those times, Aquaman was effectively no longer king of Atlantis. Mera was queen. They were, yeah, it's weird. He was basically king consort effectively, but whatever, whatever. He has a daughter now. She's adorable. Her name's Artie. um, and it's it is what it is. But now he's back to being king, and the boring life of monarchy. The people are like, hey, we found this stuff. Like, we gotta talk to dignitaries and elites and bureaucrats, and like, okay, I miss Darkseid. Where's Darkseid? Um, whatever. Arthur's stepping up, doing what's doing his duty, as Sans Baratheon would call it. But when he deals with a water monster thing, which I guess he kills as he uses hydrokinesis at its highest level, Atlantis is gone. All that's left is the pearl that Garth brought. This sort of huge pearl that Garth brought, and so he's like, "Okay, this is a problem." He goes to see Batman and the rest of like, guys, I lost Atlantis. Look, you you lost Atlantis. You've been king for 5 minutes. How do you lose your kingdom? Look. It's whatever. Just help me find out. Okay, so they go, and apparently Arthur gets pulled into, well, Darkseid. Is he gonna pull into the Absolute Universe? Is this how we set up Absolute Aquaman? Actually, that would make sense. But whatever. So this is out. So the mystery as to what happened, how this ties into possibly the events of All In, I think is interesting. It's nice when these ideas aren't dropped automatically. But then again, um, we saw that same mistake being made also involving Darkseid in DC Rebirth. I know people may not remember, but Darkseid came back in Wonder Woman's book. No one talked about it. No one cared about it. Which is weird because Darkseid War happened because an Amazon tried to Amazon planned to kill Darkseid. It actually did kill Darkseid using the Anti-Monitor. It was so yeah. We just kind of not. We never do anything. Once we do something with Darkseid, we sort of go off for a while. But overall, I think fun. I'm interested in this mystery, and yeah. So those were the three new books of All In that I read. I liked them. I enjoyed them. I didn't. Again, I love Harvey too much to not want to read it. Justice League. I've been wanting a Justice League book for ages. All right. I still think they handled the whole absolute power and even Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths and Nightwing taking over. I think that was sort of handled as a mistake. I really think it should have been an idea to say, hey, instead of going like, this happened because we weren't united. So let's bring just no. Explain that there's something special that only the Justice League as we knew it could do. All right, say that Nightwing is like good at like 90% of this, but that extra 10%, that 10% the Titans just can't reach yet. All right, I think it'd be funny or better if it was like, hey, this is us. That 10% you guys don't have yet. Maybe you will have it, but you don't have it yet. Sure, there's still room for the Titans to grow. I think that'd be more interesting, but whatever. And Aquaman, I'm just happy to see Aquaman having a good book. All right. Um, let's see here. I know I read Jeff Johns' New 52. James Robinson's was interesting. Not James Robinson. Cullen Bunn. I'm sorry. Because his Sinestro was really good too. Um, Dan Abnett's was really good. And have I read Peter David's? Like, there's another Aquaman run that I have. I don't remember who did it. But anyway, those are three I read. Um, I might want to read the Atom Project. That one seemed fun just because it was like a little scene from it in Just League Unlimited. Um, Black Lightning, I might pick up. I'm not reading Power. I'm not reading Powers. I'm not. I have no interest in Powers. Just no. And I might pick up Cassandra Cain Batgirl. I read the first issue, wasn't loving it, but give it a second issue, see how it feels. So with that, much brings to a close here. If you're new to Think Tank, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. Are you reading anything from DC All In? Let me know in the comment section. I'll catch you all later. This is Bug Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching. As always, may your fandom serve you well.